Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana, and I am live from my Beehive studio this morning. Just a little note, if you are watching this on YouTube, you are definitely watching a recording, and this is not live, but I value your comments, and if you have questions, please ask them. I will go back later and answer them, and so please feel free to comment even though I won't be live for you. But if you're joining me today at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Tuesday, this is probably live for you. So I hope you'll pop in here. And if you have any questions while I am doing my live, please jump in and say something. I will make sure that I go back before I end this live, and I will answer your questions. So, while I'm waiting for a few people to pop on here, hello everyone that's joining me. I want to let you know what happened last week. Of course, I warned you I wasn't going to be here last week. I was up in Canada. I live in Boston, but my family is all up in Canada, and my parents were moving from a house to a condo. Now, they had lived in that house for about 45 years, a very, very long time. And I don't know if any of you have gone through this, but you personally or with your parents, but downsizing is really, really difficult. So I'm there probably maybe in a third of the space that they had before. You know, somewhere between a third and a half the amount of space they had to downsize. And, you know, it's just a real big process. And they had already delayed their move-in date a month because it was just very hard for them. And so that's when I decided that I needed to go up and help them. And I've been through the process myself a couple of times, really big moves, cross-country moves. So I kind of know what it's like, and I know how hard it is. It's very, very difficult. And so basically I came in and I just like, okay, tell me what you want to take, and just put it down and I will just start packing it. But we still had to do that, and we had to go room by room. My sister had done some of the like work with them, like with going through some of the rooms that they don't use so frequently. So luckily they had done that. They had been working hard to downsize, you know, getting rid of paper clutter and all of that. But it was still a process of going through from room to room. What do you want to take? Give it to me and I will pack it. I will go to the next room. What do you want out of this closet? You know, and then it would come to a point where, you know, okay, I know you're taking these chairs, and why do you want to take this chair? Do you have a space for it? Do you have a purpose for it? You know, in your new place. So like we had to like really think about what would fit into their new place. So the move was done about halfway through. So we did all the packing and stuff the first few days, and then we did the move, and then I had a few days afterwards to help get them settled, like help troubleshoot things. And I probably could have stayed another week and still done some extra stuff. There was still more stuff to do. But the main thing was that they were in their new place and they were partway unpacked, like the main room, like the kitchen and the bedroom, they were all unpacked. And from there, at least they felt the relief of not having to deal with the house again. Like they didn't have to, you know, move anything else. All the big stuff had been moved for them. They still could go back and grab a last few things if they had forgotten anything. But they are officially out now because September 30th was their close date, or the date that they had to give the keys away. And so now they are officially in their new place, and I feel a big sense of relief because they were on a it's British Columbia, where I'm from originally, and it's a very mountainous area, and they had a steep driveway, and it was dangerous for them to be out there in the ice and snow in winter. Just not a great place for staying upright sometimes. And you know, if you take a fall when you're in your 70s, it could be really serious. So I'm so glad that they're out of there. So now they're living, the condo's fabulous. It has nice bright light, and it's right on, I don't know if any of you know British Columbia at all, but there's a new trail in Kelowna it's called Rails to Trails. They took there used to be a railroad line, and they took it and they made a trail out of it. And so that runs right behind their condo. It's awesome. I got a chance. I got one walk in. Many of you know I'm an avid walker. I was able to walk from their condo up to my sister's place, up the hill, up Dilworth. I don't know if it's Dilworth Avenue, it's Dilworth Road or something. And I walked up the mountain to my sister's place. And so I just love that. I love being able to like walk in different places. So that was a lot of fun for me. But it was a crazy, crazy week. I was like so burnt out by the end. I was like, I came off the adrenaline rush because I was like pumped. I was like, I need to get this done. I need to get this done. So obviously I couldn't do a Facebook Live, but it was really rewarding too. Like I feel like really good that they're in their new place now, and I hope that this will be easier for them to maintain, and they'll be able to like spend more time with friends and make new friends and all of that. So it's been a really positive thing, a really draining thing. Hello to everyone that's joined me from all over the world. I see New Jersey, I see Denmark. That's awesome. All right. So let me talk to you about what we're actually supposed to be doing today, not just my personal life. Today is Casing Tuesday, and it's when we take a card out of the catalog and we give it a makeover. Now, if you love the card the way it is and you have the stamp set, you can go ahead and copy it exactly. There's no problem with doing that. What I always like to try to do is I like to try and change it up, because that is my challenge, because I've been stamping for a long time. So I like to take the card and use it as a blueprint for a different card. And today I actually really like the way it turned out. This one actually was a hard challenge for me. It is not a card I probably ever would have designed. I like the card, but the card in the catalog is something that just I never would have designed. And it's really interesting to see this morning over on our Facebook group, which you are all welcome to join if you haven't already. On our Facebook group, there was such a great variety of things that people did with this card, and I loved seeing how many different things people did. It was amazing. So I urge you to go check out what other people did, because I was blown away by the samples today. It was really neat to see what people did with this, what I considered a challenging card. So let me flip this camera around and I will show you what I did and where we started from, and then I will stamp the card for you. All right, let me do that. There is my view today. It is a drizzly, mizzly sort of day. It's not a very pretty day. It's very gray today, so sorry if the lighting is a little bit off. Here is the card that we are casing. Let me see if I can get it kind of at a right angle for you. So it has, I think it's gray granite in the background, and then there's this vellum layer. So I recreated the vellum layer, and then there's this greeting going across the top. I don't think, so I thought this was a hard card, but when I saw all the great samples that people did with it, I thought, wow, you know, you guys really took it to the next level. So maybe it won't be a hard card for everyone. If you have trouble, I suggest using designer series paper in the back instead of the vellum layer, and then just putting the greeting across there. That's probably the simplest way to do this card, an easy rendition of the card. I probably overthought it a little bit, and I really wanted to keep that vellum layer. So this is my card. I'm sorry it's a little crinkly. I sat on my card yesterday. It was a crazy day yesterday because, you know, I'm still getting back, and my son last minute, he's applying to colleges, and one of the recruiters from a school, maybe you know it, UBC, University of British Columbia, just happened to be in Newton, and he got an email from the recruiter saying, if you want to meet and ask any questions, you can like get a time slot. And he was meeting people at a cafe. That was totally unexpected. So that kind of took a big chunk out of my evening to go do that. So I was rushing and I put this card down and then I sat on it. So it got a little wrinkly. Anyway, so this is a background vellum layer. I stuck a cardstock circle in between to create that moon. And I really like how I did this. So I hope you, when you watch this, you'll see how I did that. So this is my card. We're using the Spooky Sweets stamp set and the Spooky Bats Punch. And this is available as a bundle. So that's cool. By the way, if you like any of the products, you need the products, you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, you can go to my blog and I have a supply list. My blog is cubiesquest.com. My host code for the month is right here. If you spend $75 and use this host code, this month's little freebie gift is the Snowflakes and Stars wire elements. They're these cool little shapes that look really nice on Christmas cards as embellishments. So there's a couple of different ones in there, but you'll receive a full packet of those if you spend at least $75 in October with me. And then, of course, you can use the host code also. If you spend at least $15 with me, you can choose one of my free special tutorials. And those are all on my blog. If you go click on rewards, it will take you to the links where you can see the free tutorials. And if you click on the host code, it will tell you more about how the host code works to get the free embellishment that I'm offering this month. Okay, enough blah-blabbing. Let's do the card. So let's start off with this vellum piece. I will need a little piece of scrap paper to protect my surface when I go stamping off of it. So I'll need that. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black. I like it a little bit better than Stays On, but Stays On might have been a better choice because Stays On actually does stay on better, but I don't know. I just love Memento better. So I'm using Memento and I'm going to have to blot off a little bit because of that, especially due to the timing of this video. If you use Memento, you could set it aside and let it dry as well, but because I'm going to be blasting through here, I will need to actually blot it off. So I'm just inking up my bats here. And I'm going to start near the bottom, kind of towards the center, and I'm going to stamp once down at the bottom here. And try to follow my pattern. And then ink it up again. And then I'm going to move over here and stamp towards here. I'm just kind of building up a pattern of bats. Oh, I learned what is a group of bats called? I looked it up and now I've forgotten. I like to look things up and then I proceed to forget them. So I'm just kind of nesting this in here. Oh, what is a group of bats called? Does anyone know? I don't know. I have forgotten. My brain doesn't work very well when I have to try and remember something. Does your brain work like that too? Like if you're trying to remember a word, you're like, oh, I can't remember it. And then later on, it just will come to you when you don't. Oh, I think it's called a colony of bats. That's what it is. Okay, so let me just add this. I'm trying to, right here. I want some kind of going off into the sky like that. Okay, let me see. I think I can set this aside to dry for just a bit and then I'm going to blot it off. But basically that's the pattern that I created on the vellum. Oh, and this piece of vellum is 4 inches by 5¼ inches. All right, let me set that aside. I'm going to also need to stamp one bat to punch out. So I've got a piece of scrap Whisper White, and I think I'm doing my biggest bat up at the top here. And I'm just stamping that on Whisper White. And then I'm going to take my bat punch and slide this in here. Okay. Need to get it centered. There we go. Isn't he cute? And I got another little bat out of it. That's cool too. So I wasn't intending on getting the little bat out of that punch, but I guess I managed to get him as well. So maybe I can use him on a different project. Then I'm going to need a little piece of paper or cardstock for my greeting. This piece is 3 inches by 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to take my little Happy Halloween stamp, ink it up. The only ink color I'm using is Memento Tuxedo Black. All right, that's a wee bit crooked. I need to turn it a little bit. Let's see if I can get it a little bit better. About there and about there. There. So that's the neat thing. You know, if you cut something, you stamp it crooked, most of the time you can flip it over to the back and stamp it again. It just gives you a second shot. Mine was just a little bit crooked, so I kind of wanted it to be straight. All right, so then one more thing that we need to do is we need our 1 3/4 inch circle punch. And I'm going to use crushed curry because it's a really bright yellow and it's going to have vellum over the top. So I wanted to use a really bright yellow so that it could be seen. So that's going to be our moon. And I think that's it. So the assembly here is the tricky part. It's not tricky, but this is the part that you will want to watch. Okay, so I've got my card base, and this one is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, scored in half at the 5 1/2 inch mark. All right, we've got this piece of vellum. Now I'm going to want to blot it off because it's probably still a little bit wet. So I'm just going to take this scrap piece of paper, and I'm just going to blot off the extra ink so it doesn't get all over me or anything else that it's not supposed to get on. All right, so you can see it kind of just blotted off. It wasn't a lot of ink, but I just wanted to get most of it off. All right, so now I kind of need to figure out how I'm going to arrange this. So I'm just going to sort of arrange this how I think it's going to look. I need to add a little piece of ribbon to the bottom of this greeting. This is a piece of the glittered black organdy ribbon, and it is really pretty. I hope you can see how it catches the light in the video. It is just really pretty. And I'm going to use a little bit of tear and tape on the bottom. This is the back side. You know how I stamp my Happy Halloween crooked. So I'm going to run 2 lines of tear and tape on here. I like to use something other than Tombow when I'm using vellum, because vellum has a little bit of a slippery surface to it, and I don't think Tombow adheres very well to it. So I'm just going to remove the bottom for now, the bottom liner. I'm going to pick this up so I have pretty much 0 fingernails after the move. It was very dry in BC while I was there, and just washing my hands a lot because I was touching a lot of stuff, and everything got really, really dry. So I'm just going to stick this on the bottom here. And I noticed that this end isn't cut quite on the right angle. I wanted a little bit more of an angle. So let me just angle that just a little bit more. That looks a little better. It's about the details, right? So I'm just kind of, I want to arrange this. I haven't glued anything down yet, but this looks good right about here. So I'm just going to remove the backing of the tear and tape liner right here. And then just going to put this down, center it from side to side, kind of put it down right about here. Okay. And then I'm going to flip this off and see how I've got my circle. I haven't moved it. So what I'm going to do, so I don't move the circle, I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow under here. Come on, Tombow. This is what happens when your Tombow has a clog in it. Time to declog my Tombow. So I just take my paper clip and I unclog it. I just opened up that paper clip so I could unclog it. So I'm just going to kind of pin my circle down, and hopefully now I'm just putting enough Tombow under there so that it is staying put in the spot that I want it. Maybe just a little bit up from there. All right, so now that is adhered. Oops, I just moved it. That is adhered to my cardstock, so I don't need to adhere that to the vellum. Now I'm gonna flip this over, and with vellum, you have to strategically put adhesive on the back so that it doesn't show, because vellum, so you can see through it. So you need to be strategic about it. So I can do a couple of things. I can put a line of tear and tape behind the white piece because no one's gonna see that because my greeting is covering it. I can take some mini glue dots, and where's my paper piercing tool? And let me find the first mini glue dot. So you can take these, and I would put them behind the bats, okay, because it's black, and that's also kind of going to create a shadow, so you won't be able to see them behind the bats. So I would just take a few, like 2 or 3, and put them behind the bat wings, just so you're pinning down the vellum so it's not going to, okay, that one's going to stay there now. So you won't be able to see it, but it will be pinned down. So now I just need to flip this and center it. Oh, you know what I didn't do? I should have removed the tear and tape liner from the back of the Happy Halloween. I didn't do that. Oh well, the little mini glue dots are obviously doing a fine job in holding that. So maybe I didn't even need the tear and tape piece behind there. So just one more thing. I need to find my bat, my little bat. This is the finishing piece. And I'm going to use little mini glue dots, mini dimensionals. And I just put a couple of them on here. Take my paper piercing tool, pierce the liner, and get rid of it. Or maybe not. All right, and then we can stick the little bat on here like that, and that's like the little finishing touch, and that takes care of the blank space. So you see how I fudged this piece because this is a long greeting. There were no long greetings in the Spooky Sweets stamp set. So how I fudged it is I put the small greeting here, and then I put my little embellished bat right there so I could kind of lengthen what I needed for right here. So that's how I took care of that little problem. So here's my original card that I kind of got crunched up, and then here is the card I just made. And I kind of think it's a kind of a fun card with the bats kind of flying into the night. It's very hard to do black on black because it would be very hard to see. Like even if I emboss the bats on black cardstock, they wouldn't be very visible on the black unless you held it up to the light. But by using the vellum, you can create the same atmosphere of a dark and spooky night. but you can stamp them in black, and you can have the moon in the background, right? So, you know, it's nice that I didn't have to stamp that circle or sponge it or anything like that. It's in the background. It was really easy. And I mean, this card didn't take very long at all to make. So definitely I would suggest having fun and playing around with the vellum and that bat stamp. So anyway, I'm just going to scroll back. I don't think there were any questions or anything. So let me just around here. I've got a couple more things on tap for this week. My stamp set of the week is the spooky, can't even say it, is the stamp set Spooky Sweets. And so I'll be doing a card tomorrow with that, and then I will be doing a 3D project later in the week. This week, take note, it's our World Card Making Day week, and we have a special going on right now. If you need dimensionals, they are on sale right now. We always need these to pop things up on our cards. So there's some adhesives on special this week. We've got our 12 by 12 Very Vanilla and Whisper White on sale. There's some stamp sets on sale, and some card kits on sale. So check that out on my blog. I posted about that yesterday. And we also have some new Stamparatus accessories available. So those became available yesterday as well, and I talked about that yesterday. So since I don't see any questions, I will just sign off. I will be back next week for another Casing Tuesday, and I might be on tomorrow with a card, with my card that I'm stamping tomorrow, and I'll post the time when I'll be on my Be Stamping with QB Facebook group, so you guys know when I'll be on for that card. And then the 3D project, I will film a separate video tutorial for that. I won't be doing a Facebook Live for that one, but that will be on my blog. So if you want to make sure that you catch all of my stamp projects, you can subscribe to my blog, and that is available if you click on the link to go to my blog. And if you want to join our Casing Tuesday Facebook group, that link is also down below. So just click on that, and then Catalina or I will approve you. All right, guys, I hope you have a great week, and I would love to see what you do with this layout. I was pleasantly surprised to see how many creative ideas people came up with, and I would love to see yours too. So please don't forget to share your creation on our Facebook group. All right, guys, have a great week. Take care. Bye-bye.